Hello and thanks for joining us for Praxis Magazine. I'm Bailey Martin. We welcome you to our final edition of the spring semester, as we will be taking a look back at our top stories of 2022. Even though most of the COVID restrictions have been lifted, the pandemic has given professors a new approach when they plan their in-person lessons. Students in Dr. Rachel Whitman's American Sign Language course learned to overcome language barriers made more apparent during the pandemic and COVID restrictions. The psychology professor is integrating an inclusive language skill to her class and hopes to develop more effective communication among our campus population. Praxis Magazine reporter Caitlin Sims has more.
Going to college is a challenge that about 70% of kids 18 to 20 commit to. From the workload to the new environment, college is a difficult but necessary experience. However, it is even harder for students with hearing impairments. But one professor at the McAulty School of Liberal Arts is changing that, one sign at a time.
So I think when we talk about disability, it's really common for people to think about what someone can't do. So if you have somebody who uses a wheelchair and they're trying to get to the second floor of a building and there are only stairs there, right? They're not going to be able to get to the second floor. And a lot of times people think, well, it's the flaw of the disabled person, right? You know, this disabled person, they have to change. But this idea that we're disabled by society is really reflecting on the fact that if we made things more accessible and people had more access, they would be able to navigate the world.
Dr. Rachel Whitman has been teaching her college students American Sign Language along with the course material since she finished her doctorate and has been met with students who are enthusiastic to expand their sign language knowledge.
What I enjoy most about this class is I feel like a lot of the classes I take here have implications for the real world, but the language they use is very academic, and this class uses a bit more everyday language, which actually talks about things that are really happening in the world today.
I really notice a lot of the boundaries that we've set and a lot of the obstacles that we've made within our community and within society that make it really hard for individuals with disability to get around every day.
Dr. Whitman believes that teaching more students ASL is a little step every professor should take, regardless of the subject they teach, to be more inclusive within their teaching.
I do believe at the college level, I think more universities are going to start offering more diverse language options to learn. And a lot of colleges have begun to offer ASL classes. We can have fun with it. We can include people a lot more readily. And so I think even if it's a chemistry class, you know, people who are deaf take chemistry classes. We can definitely incorporate this, I think, pretty easily into other environments.
Dr. Whitman has taken the first step in this fight for equity, but it is up to us to continue to bring visibility to the discrimination that people with inabilities face on the daily. I am Caitlin Sims, and this is Praxis Magazine.
Dr. Rachel Whitman is always offering her ASL course to help break the barrier and reduce discrimination at Duquesne University. You can find almost any piece of information right on your smartphone. So, how's Duquesne contributing to this world of discoverability? The Gumberg Library is beginning a digital shift in their content by moving their library online and offering students avenues of research and accessibility. Praxis Magazine reporter Noah Ozarzak has the story.
The biggest change was actually about 10 years ago, and that was pharmacy students started saying to me that resources didn't exist that they couldn't get on their phones.
Libraries have changed in many ways over the past several years. David Nolfi has watched the shift to digital formats affect libraries from the beginning.
I got an iPhone, and it's like the whole world opened up. And so that was, to me, the biggest change, is because, why did students want to do it? Because they could take their phone anywhere, because they could read it on a bus, in a pharmacy that they're having to work, and I think it's a kind of a revolutionary thing.
The shift to a digital focus also allows libraries to better use their limited space.
I think this is meaningful in that, we have more virtual space, so we are moving physical books to the digital formats, which means we can use this physical rooms more diverse way.
David's past experience gives him a unique insight into the future of libraries.
I was actually a hospital librarian before a university librarian, and they have a motto which is give people what they want, where they want it, and when they want it. And it was really never possible until we got to the point of where everything was available online.
Using the digital resources can prove to be difficult, but librarians can help serve as a guide.
Sometimes when you're asking hard questions, it's not like you can just go to Google and say what movie is playing tonight at 4. There's a lot more to it, and you have to have some specialized knowledge about how the information is organized. And sure, we can teach classes about that, and we do, and most students get pretty good at it, but sooner or later you get to a very complicated question, and when you do, you need help, and that's what we're here for.
Ye sees the library as a tool to share and better understand information.
Meaningful learning is important, by practicing, by interacting. Which means I think we need a place to interact. So long ago when I was young, maybe reading books in the library quietly would be the best place. But right now, just consuming information is not enough. We need to talk, discuss, and share different ideas with peers, professors, and information professionals.
Students are encouraged to use the library and its staff as a resource. Talking in the library is encouraged when asking for help.
Students say, I don't want to bother you. And I don't think anybody signs up to be a librarian because they don't want to talk to students. I always tell students when I meet with them it's the highlight of my day, because otherwise I'm doing paperwork and it's boring, and working with students is really why I'm here.
Even as libraries go digital, the staff within them will offer deeper insight that will prove irreplaceable for years to come. From Praxis Magazine, I'm Noah Charzak.
You can go to the Gumberg Library website to find more and begin your research anywhere you go. With finals quickly approaching, caffeine can be every college student's best friend, and your new coffee fix can be found just off the bluff. Brother Andre's Cafe provides the coffee, cookies, and other baked goods, as well as employment opportunities for adults with developmental disabilities. As Praxis Magazine reporter Mary Liz Flavin shows us, it is also providing a job opportunity to Duquesne student Shay Moffitt.
Inspired by the story of Brother Andre, the namesake of this cafe, Mike and Terry Fitzgerald opened a coffee shop in order to employ those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. 20-year-old Siobhan Moffett has spent the past 2 weeks serving up more than just coffee. She has been learning vital skills in Duquesne University's St. Anthony's program.
Favorite thing to do when
I
you
like
come
to make
in?
coffee.
You like to make coffee?
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind to make?
With coffee.
Just regular coffee?
Yeah.
And you said you don't
Shay and her mom have coffee making in the bag.
Is it fun being with you? It's fun being with you. Is this correct? Look, is that the same?
Made with love, each cup, bag, and treat is handled with care by employees like Shay. They aren't the only ones enjoying the coffee, however.
Latte!
Brother Ross Henley orders up.
It's been very warm and inviting. And I haven't tried the coffee yet, but I'm sure it's delicious.
You could say that Brother Andre's is brother tested,
It's
brother
delicious.
approved. Experiences provided by Brother Andre's brews opportunity and steep success.
She's so proud of herself, which is, all these kids want is to have the same kind of experiences that other kids have, which is they want to feel useful, and they want to feel needed, and they want to do things that they've never done before. They like challenges, so this has been a great challenge for her.
I'm Mary Liz Flavin with Praxis Magazine, and I hope to see you here at the blue doors of Brother Andre's Cafe.
Brother Andre's is a one-stop shop for all of your final exam preparation needs, with impeccable and inspiring service. They are open every day except Sundays, 7 to 4 p.m. The recent Russian invasion of Ukraine has left many families scared and worried for their future, leaning on each other for support. But what about those who don't have family to lean on? I sat down with Ukrainian Catholic priest Father Jason Sharon at Brother Andre's Cafe as he recalled his travels to Ukraine to save 22 Ukrainian orphans and how this changed their lives as well as his forever.
And he doesn't ask of us to do extraordinary things, but simply to do ordinary things and to respond with the ordinary opportunities that present ourselves with a yes or a no.
What began as an ordinary promise to an 8-year-old Ukrainian girl led to an extraordinary action of nearly a dozen Ukrainian orphans being rescued across dangerous battlefields to safety by 2 of Pittsburgh's very own.
So I just said to her, I said, look, no matter where you are in the world, I said, if anything ever goes wrong, I'm going to come get you. I'll be there. And that's how this started.
This promise was made to 8-year-old Karina, a Ukrainian orphan whom Alan and his wife Anita were hosting at their home in Pittsburgh this past Christmas. Although adoption was a foreseeable outcome for their family, a Russian invasion of Karina's home country was not.
But when the kids called me at 11:30 at night, the night these bombs started going off, and Karina kept running to the window and yelling, "Bomb, bomb, bomb."
Not to mention the language barrier they face.
I had to try to Google Translate, like, honey, it's okay, it's gonna be okay, just get away from the window, and everything will be fine, you'll be safe.
Father Jason Sharon of Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Carnegie and Alan Sherwood spoke at Brother Andre's Cafe, sharing their recent trip to Ukraine, amidst an invasion Father Jason compares to the tragedies of World War II. He detailed the horrors he witnessed firsthand.
This is an unjust war, and there is no reason for Mr. Putin to be doing this. But as deep as this hole is that he's dug, part of me wants to thank him in an absurd kind of way, because he has brought a divided world together like no one else could. Is that people who haven't spoken for a while, COVID has just reset the whole board, and people haven't talked to in a while. People in their own families all of a sudden don't talk to each other, but all of a sudden this comes upon us, and what has happened is the extraordinary thing amidst the ordinariness of war.
Karina, and others just like her, are used to hearing broken promises from adults. But Alan and Father Jason kept their word and made the daring rescue.
She came up and she was hugging me, and I used Google Translate and said, do you remember the time when I told you at Christmas I'd always be there for you? And she shook her head yes and just gave me a big hug and a kiss.
As we have listened to the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra play the Ukrainian national anthem and watch the blue and yellow flags wave here in the city, Father Jason encourages Pittsburghers to get in touch with local representatives to learn how you can help, as well as donating to the Ukrainian Culture of Humanitarian Institute. Another event made national news that impacted the Duquesne community. When the Fern Hollow Bridge came crashing down last month, it was heard by many people who live in the Squirrel Hill and Regent Square neighborhoods. The Biden administration is using the bridge failure as an example of the need to fix our crumbling infrastructure. As crews continue to clean up and investigate what led the bridge to cave in, we found business owners and Duquesne students deeply affected by the collapse. First responders worked quickly to bring 10 injured people out of the ravine after the Fern Hollow Bridge collapsed on January 28th. Remarkably, no one suffered life-threatening injuries. PennDOT officials say 14,000 drivers used the Fern Hollow Bridge every day before it came crumbling to the ground. The popular section of Forbes Avenue is an important connector, linking neighborhoods. With it now shut down indefinitely, business owners worry about the impact on customers and revenue.
Well, I think right now it's, being a slow time for me anyway, January and February, it's hard to judge, but I know that a lot of people, a lot of my customers have, that live in the neighborhood have had a hard time getting to the store.
As you can see, I am just feet away from the destruction site that was the collapse of the Fern Hollow Bridge here in Frick Park. We looked at how it is directly affecting those local to the city and even Duquesne students. Kathleen Herbstritt moved to South Braddock Avenue, right next to Frick Park, just weeks before the bridge collapsed.
I woke up to sirens first thing in the morning. I could hear them from our apartment. I got several texts from family members and friends, letting me know what was going on, asking if we were okay.
Kathleen's a senior English and Women and Gender Studies major and tells me it was an easy commute taking Forbes Avenue all the way to Duquesne's campus. Not anymore. Kathleen, David, and many other people living in the area are hoping the infrastructure law signed by President Joe Biden and the president's visit to the site of the collapse will enhance the Fern Hollow Bridge and many others in need of repair.
We are worried there are a few other bridges in the area that do need some construction and renovations done. So we hope that the city will be mindful of caring for infrastructure in the future.
The reconstruction of the Fern Hollow Bridge is set to begin soon to allow the estimated 14,000 drivers to return to their routine commute. Transportation officials do not know how long it will take to rebuild the Fern Hollow Bridge. There are estimates by PennDOT officials that it could take at least 18 months or possibly more than 2 years. Duquesne University takes immense pride in the accomplishments and successes of their alumni. And this former Duquesne student is hitting her goals out of the park as the first female sports reporter and host on KDKA Radio. Whether it's Steelers Sunday or your morning drive to work, alumnus Shelby Cassesi is using her talents to be heard throughout the city of Pittsburgh. Shelby is the focus of this Praxis magazine Alumni Profile.
Shelby Cassesi, News Radio KDKA.
Today, she gives you travel updates on KDKA Radio.
The city of Pittsburgh announced Wednesday construction.
But Shelby Cassesi is well-traveled herself. The 2015 Duquesne University graduate drove 106 miles south of the Bluff to pursue her journalism career in Bridgeport, West Virginia.
Wasn't far off. The Mountaineers lost that game by 30 points to end
and now another 106 miles back to her home city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where she scored her goal of becoming the first female weekly sports reporter in KDKA radio history. Shelby is a former student athlete who attributes her love of sports partly to being a lifelong Penguins fan, especially their 2009 Stanley Cup victory, a game she watched from her living room with her father.
Hugging my dad in my living room, being there in that moment, I fell more in love with sports every single day, just watching through him.
And dedicating their time as a busy family to analyzing each game in Pittsburgh together.
The emotion surrounding sports is really irreplaceable, especially here in Pittsburgh. And I wanted to be so much closer to that than just watching from my TV.
Shelby's drive and determination led her success, but she says Duquesne University, and two professors in particular, played an important role in her slide into home base back here in Pittsburgh.
Duquesne, Mike Clark, Dr. Wojtek really helped to lay the foundation of passion that you need to succeed in this industry.
The path they helped her pave paid off, as she became Duquesne's first Mid-Atlantic Emmy nominee.
They were so dedicated to helping us learn the ropes, get comfortable with what we were doing, and just really supporting us.
In addition to her academics and real-world experience, she learned something else on her Duquesne University journey. She says she learned to always treat people with kindness and to never forget where she came from. You can listen to Shelby on KDKA Radio's 93.7 The Fan every Sunday, weekdays for your news and traffic updates, and you can also follow Shelby on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Shelby Cassesi. Right now, we want to take a look on the weather with Marie Sullivan, who has your 5-day forecast. Marie?
Thanks, Bailey. It's going to be cool today with 42-degree temperatures and rainy conditions. Winds will reach 15 miles per hour up here on the bluff. Tonight we cool down with overcast conditions and 32-degree temperatures. We will also have a similar wind speed of 14 miles per hour on AWOC. The rest of this week, temperatures will warm up slightly, with Thursday being mostly sunny and 52 degrees. Friday and Saturday will be mostly cloudy, with a high of 58 on Friday and a high of 61 on Saturday. Sunday, temperatures will stay similar with a high of 63 and cloudy conditions. Dukes in Rome are having the time of their lives with 73-degree weather and sunny conditions, while our friends in Dublin are enjoying typical Irish weather with a 55-degree day and cloudy conditions. Back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Marie. The showers of the COVID-19 pandemic have brought the flowers of the spring 2022 semester. Duquesne has been able to unveil some of its most monumental projects and exciting works this semester that are directly affecting the future of the university. His new book has been called a twisty, fulfilling legal thriller, taking readers through an emotional journey through Pittsburgh. That's how critics have been describing President Ken Gormley's first novel, The Heiress of Pittsburgh. President Gormley calls his book a love letter to Pittsburgh. Gormley is a two-time New York Times best-selling author for his nonfiction works and says this first novel is 30 years in the making. The book is centered around a Pittsburgh lawyer, his love for the city of Pittsburgh, and the character's intense court battle on behalf of the blue-collar communities of Swissvale and Edgewood, where Gormley was raised. The story is filled with rich details of the Pittsburgh region. And as President Gormley is promoting his work here on Duquesne's campus, he had a few of his Pittsburgh friends join him for the special event. The celebration had all the Pittsburgh fixings, including Permani-style sandwiches, a cookie table, and even pierogies. The president's love of writing and the book's potential impact on Pittsburgh are important elements of this Praxis magazine report.
For me, writing, especially writing fiction, creative writing of any kind, is as enjoyable as going to a movie. You're creating the movie, you're seeing the images. And so for me, I always say some people see shrieks, I write. It's great therapy, stress release. It's just something I love doing.
The Heiress of Pittsburgh is available on Amazon and in bookstores throughout the region. President Gormley says that all proceeds from the sales of the novel will be donated to a special initiative at Duquesne University and the College of Liberal Arts to support a new generation of young readers in developing their craft and pursuing their writing talents. With a focus on holistic wellness and the ethics of integrative care, Duquesne University's proposed College of Osteopathic Medicine will embrace the university's long tradition of serving the mind, body, and spirit. President Gormley and other founders broke the ground of the new state-of-the-art medical school in celebration of the build. President Gormley also tells us that students will benefit from unique interdisciplinary opportunities, expert faculty, and a community-focused approach to medicine. This follows the mission of the university, to serve God by serving students through service to the church, community, and the world. This $151 million build will produce one of the most forward-thinking medical schools in the nation. The medical college will be housed in an 81,600 square foot building, which will be located in the heart of the Uptown Eco-Innovation District across from the newly redesigned UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse, and will see its first 85 students in 2024. Dean, Dr. John M. Kaufman, emphasizes the greatness of having a medical school with Pittsburgh as its backdrop.
The impact is huge because we are going to invite students from all over the region to come here, live here for the first 2 years of their medical education, and then head out into the communities.
The Duquesne community celebrated another grand opening, our Union Broadcast Center, the newest incorporation to Duquesne's Center for Emerging and Innovative Media. Students, faculty, and staff were welcome to take a look at the new space while enjoying some Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Director Don Ma introduced interviews with President Gormley and a Duquesne alum guest of honor, Abby Krisner, Assistant Program Director and Music Director at 105.9 The X. This interview was broadcast from the studio into the Africa Room, which was used as additional space to celebrate the grand opening. Representatives from the sports marketing, journalism, WDSR, and DSTV were available to speak with students about programs that utilize resources of all campus studios. For more information on how to get involved, visit us right here in the Student Union. Putting together the first ever Praxis magazine newscast this semester would not be possible without the work done behind the scenes by our amazing and dedicated crew. The work we've accomplished is credited to our collaboration and teamwork as a whole. So special thanks to our Chief Studio Engineer, Joe Philippi, and our Production Manager, Mary Liz Flavin, as well as students Caitlin Sims, Gigi Harris, and Noah Ozarzak. I would also like to extend thanks to the Director of the Center for Emerging and Innovative Media, Don Ma, as well as Mr. Mike Clark, for always pushing us to create the best content and allowing us to use the Union Broadcast Center to its fullest potential to help us further our professional and academic careers. That's it for this edition of Praxis Magazine. I'm Bailey Martin. Thanks for watching and have a great day.